今何の研究をしてるんですか？
今、人の心が分かっちゃうコンピューターを研究しています。
人の心？
おまわりさんがそれを持ってれば悪い人だってすぐ見つけちゃうでしょ。
It's a gun that reads the psychopaths of the target you're aiming at. The safety's only released when it registers the target as a latent criminal. All you gotta do is follow the Dominator's commands. Oh, shit!
What's up everyone, Kaiju no Kami here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Kamen Rider Black's successor series, Kamen Rider Black RX. Due to the immense popularity of Kamen Rider Black, Toei decided to make its successor a direct sequel and feature the return of Kurata's Minami Kotaro. RX was airing at the time the Showa Emperor Hirohito died, thus it also became the first show to be airing when the Heisei period kicked off. Either way, it is considered to be the final Showa series, and would end up being the last full-length Kamen Rider series for over a decade. What is odd about this fact though is RX has been featured in more video game crossovers than any other Kamen Rider, even compared to Ichigo. That seems kind of odd for a series that had low ratings. Well, let's take a look at the show's heroes to find out. The heroes. One of the best aspects to Kamen Rider Black is how dark and dreary it was. Kotaro may have won the battle, but he lost everything during the war. His friends and family were either dead or gone. He would have to live with being a cyborg forever. It was a somber ending to a spectacular show and fit with the tone. So what did they do with Kotaro and RX? They made him a silly, happy, clumsy goofball.
だから今度ゆっくり付き合うって。今度は絶対ね。
今度っていつ？
それはレイちゃんに任せるよ。
Where's my Kotaro? That's not my Kotaro. I want my Kotaro back. That's right! In the weeks following Gorgum's defeat, Kotaro somehow got a job, was adopted into his boss's family, he got a girlfriend, and he was no longer conflicted with his tragic backstory. He was like an entirely new character with a new outlook on life. All in the blink of an eye. In addition to this new persona, he receives an upgrade when an evil empire from another dimension comes to Earth, which causes him to be renamed Kamen Rider Black RX.
俺はブラックの体じゃない。
I guess a new prescription was in order. This time, Kotaro now wields his own special lightsaber that he whips out of his waist after getting excited in battle, rather than just having to fight with his fists. As the series progresses, he acquires two new forms, the first ever for the franchise, a robot armored form called Robo Rider, and an organic facade deemed Bio Rider.
不思議なことが起こった。RX の体が怒りの叫びとともにバイオライダーに変身したのである。
I have no idea why he needed new names for these forms, especially since everyone in the world seems to know to call him Robo or Bio Rider when he is transformed, but he does. I do have to admit that I like the Robo Rider form, as the gold and black are really striking, especially in the face. Bio Rider's colors aren't as complementary to his form, and this form pretty much becomes his MacGuffin form to get him out of any situation the plot throws at him for convenience sake. Oh boy, and does this show feature every single plot convenience imaginable.
確かに俺の心臓お前はついた。だがその瞬間に俺はバイオライダーとなってお前の攻撃を受け止め、無力化。そして元に戻って倒れてみせたんだ。
For example, there is one episode where Kotaro has to travel to an alternate dimension to save his boss's children from the villains. How does he do this? Simple. The monster of the week that is sent to defeat Kotaro just happens to have a giant button on his chest that acts as a transporter between realms.
That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard.
何をする？鉄ガロ、
前に葉山会まで連れて行ってもらうぞ。
Really stupid.
Another episode has Kotaro's energy being stolen from him.
キングストーンのエネルギーが。
南光太郎、貴様のエネルギーは尽きているだろう。
How does he overcome this situation? By looking up at the sun.
俺は太陽の子。
Being stupid.
It's quite tiresome as nothing ever feels as detrimental as they should, especially considering what was at stake in the previous show. You always know Kotaro's going to come out on top, no questions asked. What's even more disappointing is how invincible Kotaro is even when he isn't transformed. He has a tussle in the beginning of the show with a detective, sometimes physically harming the dude in the process, but nothing ever comes out of it. He is never arrested, and we never learn why the detective was so suspicious about Kotaro, as he just disappears after a few episodes.
仲間かあの泥棒。
ごめんなさい。
前からお前は怪しい奴だと思ってたんだ。今度という今度はじっくり仕上げてやる。
This would have been a really prime opportunity to dive into some story aspects that revolved around the previous show. Maybe have the detective actually be some sort of Gorgum remnants and he is using the legal system as his only means of revenge. Or maybe have that he suspects Kotaro's involvement with the events from the previous series and wants him in for questioning. There were so many endless opportunities that went nowhere because this show tried to be as formulaic and kid-oriented as possible. In fact, the only time Kotaro is actually hunted by the police is when the villains hack into the police computers and give Kotaro a record.
2年前の8月、銀座にあるデパートが爆弾を仕掛けられ、指紋などから東京にあるサーラ航空所属ヘリコプターパイロット南光太郎20歳を犯人と断定逮捕しました。
Now that's what you call fake news. As if dumbing the material down wasn't enough, they also diminished Battle Hopper's death by bringing him back in a new form titled Acrobatter. Like Kotaro, he also changed his form to suit Robo and Bio Rider. For the first time ever, a Kamen Rider requires a car as a means for transport, which also just happens to be equipped with an AI.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
Kit, Rider-Ron, seems to only show up when it is most expedient, and it can practically do anything. It can travel between dimensions,
Rider, 来てくれ。ライド、来てくれたのか。
it can drive underwater,
Danger is the game he plays, and he holds every card.
if Kotaro needs it to do something, it does. I really don't see why they need to have both Acrobatter and Rider-Ron when all it did was take away screen time from one another. The writer should have chosen one or the other, not both. Also, what happened to Road Sector? Road Sector just disappeared. I don't recall Road Sector being destroyed in Kamen Rider Black. So where is the thing? Moving on, Kotaro does have some allies he acquires throughout the show. The first being his boss, Shinkichi Sahara, his wife Utako, their kids Shigeru and Hitomi.
こうちゃんが何ですって ?RX なんでしょえあ
何よ、バカなこと言ってるんだ、ひとみ。
こうちゃんが RX ですって
A lot of Kotaro's adventures revolve around either Shigeru or Hitomi getting kidnapped by the villains, which Utako does question at one point.
もうたくさんよどうしてうちの家族だけがこんなひどい目に遭わなきゃならないのみんなこうちゃんがこのうちに来てからよ
Now that's comedy.
There's also Kotaro's photographer girlfriend, Reiko Shiratori, played by Junko Yamaki, who was Diana in the Metal Hero show Spielbahn. Next up is a man that joins Kotaro on his quest during the second quarter named Joe the Haze. He is an earthling that got taken to the demon world where Kotaro rescued him, and the two instantly became friends. They will often work together to stop the evil plots of the Crisis Empire, though Joe seemingly disappears for a good portion of the show. Still, I did like him and he may be the best character in the entire series.
お前なら走るのか。こんなもんへのかっぱさ。
That's disgusting.
Though, for some reason, when he returns, he ends up becoming nothing more than comic relief.
ようこそ。立ちまだ。
Oh, what is with this show? Kotaro, he's supposed to be serious and badass. They put him here, he's silly, goofy. We have Joe the Haze in this series. He starts out serious and badass, disappears for a little bit, comes back, and suddenly he's silly and goofy. Why does this show like to self-destruct their own characters? Some of you may recognize actor Rakiya Koyama for his roles as Yamato in Naruto, Amiya in Fate Zero, Kuze in Ghost in the Shell's second gig, Belfungan in Fullmetal Panic second raid, and Zeppeli in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He is also the voice for Wolverine in the Marvel anime series, and funny enough, is the voice of Frank Taylor in the Japanese dub of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight.
気持ちはわかるけどな、オサム。この世に超能力なんてものがあるはずがないんだ。この間のスプーンだってお父さんの前では曲がらなかっただろう。
あれは、でも一人でやった時は。There is no spoon.
Another addition to his team is a young
この世に超能力なんてものがあるはずがないんだ。この世に超能力なんてものがあるはずがないんだ。
ギラギラギラ光る星のガス毒液噛みつく顎。
この世に超能力なんてものがあるはずがないんだ。
Another addition to his team is a young girl, Kyoko Mataba. The Crisis Empire murders her parents in front of her during one of their attacks. Which is probably the show's second or third most serious moment. And she learns how to control water, making her a vital asset to Kotaro. She also releases her inner Katniss. Finally, if you recall my review of Black, I talked about how Toei had put the series in its own universe that was separate from the previous Kamen Rider series. Well, here, Toei changed their minds and placed it in their regular Kamen Rider universe. As such, the show features the previous Kamen Riders from Ichigo to Z-Cross.
俺が仮面ライダー1号、俺はライダー2号、俺は V3 ライダーマン、仮面ライダー X、仮面ライダーアマゾン、仮面ライダーストロンガー、カイライダー、俺は仮面ライダースーパーワン、俺は仮面ライダーテクラス。
We never see them on a costume, and half of the episodes they appear in just have them training in the gravel pits of the Arizona desert. Why are you looking at me like that? You're acting like Arizona can't have a gravel pit. Have you never been to Arizona? It's basically a giant gravel pit. It's cool to see them. Nevertheless, they're ultimately there for fan service and nothing more, as they really don't accomplish anything, at least on screen. They talk about their exploits, but we never see them, which is severely disappointing.
俺たちは世界各国でクライシスの情報を集め、クライシスのスパイと戦っていたものだ。クライシスが日本に全面攻撃をかけると知り。
By the time they show up, the series was really dragging its feet, so having episodes that diverted from the main plot to focus on the other writers would have been most welcomed. Oh, and we never hear anything about Kyoko and Katsumi in this show as if they never existed. Kotaro never brings them up once. The villains! This show has villains. They're essentially aliens. That's cool, right? The villains are known as the Crisis Empire, and they finally decide to put their 10-year invasion plan into motion. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. They've been planning to invade the Earth for 10 years, but they didn't. That means they were waiting for someone to take out Gorgum, meaning Gorgum was the much bigger threat because the Crisis Empire was scared of Gorgum. Congratulations, Kotaro! You have doomed us all by defeating Gorgum. I hope you are happy with yourself. Congratulations. Anyway, leading the invasion force is General Jack.
作戦は帝国より間もなく移送される50億の民の第一陣を迎え入れるためのものだ。
His subordinates include a robot named Gate Zone,
我がロボット大隊最強の戦士ガンガディ。お前はこれから地上に行き、アレックスモノともライドロンを爆破してこい。
a descendant of a noble family, Mari Baron,
将軍、私はゲドリアンやガテゾーンと違って純粋なクライシス人、しかも貴族の生まれです。私にもその罰を与えるおつもりですか。
黙れ。
the oddball gymnast Ghidorah,
じゃあ発揮しよう。キュルキュル天は人間の体に卵を産みつけて人間の数だけ仲間を増やすことができるのです。けど
and the commander of the naval forces, Bozgun.
お前が一人じゃ寂しいだろうと思ってな。一緒にあの世に送ってやるのさ。何？助けたければ来い。鬼ヶ島の西10キロの海上だ。
Other than Mari Baron, we learn next to nothing about who or what the other villains are. They're just there. They don't have any arcs, any growth, or any development whatsoever. It's pretty embarrassing considering the show is 47 episodes and these villains come off as nothing more than wallpaper. Even the Emperor's Inspector who shows up in the second half, Dasmander, brings nothing of value with him. He's just there to antagonize the crew while threatening to tell them on the Emperor. Think of Goo from Gumby. I'm gonna go tell Gumby.
クライシス皇帝陛下は地球侵略の遅れをひどくお怒りになっている。私はあなた方の働きを調査し、
The only thing of note I can say about any of them is that Bozgun is voiced by Shozo Lizuka, who is Nappa in Dragon Ball, while Mari Baron's actress Atsuko Takahata voiced Kanoe in X.
ではこの作戦は奴めが。
なるほどな。そういうことか。
As for the monsters of the week, they're not much better. Being that they are alien-esque creatures, many just look like random designs thrown together as opposed to the more animalistic type critters we are used to seeing. Supposedly, Keita Amamiya designed the monsters in this show too, but I wouldn't doubt it if he only designed like a couple of them given how bad most of them look. There is one that looks like duct tape wrapped around a robot. Another that would give Freddy Krueger nightmares. This prick of a monster that looks nothing like a cactus. One whose name, I kid you not, is Flamey Greamy.
クリスタルを出せ。ドリアン、グラミグラミは何をしていたのだ。
それより海魔界より地球に呼び寄せたサム博士によって。
And this appealing monster played by ABBA Rangers Kon Okumura. I can't really say I have a favorite as none of these monsters jumped out at me. Though I did did like the one that resembled Son Goku.
I will crush you!
No, the actual Monkey King Son Goku, not the Dragon Ball version. Unlike Gorgum, the Crisis Empire does have a set of grunts called chaps. They're pretty much mindless drones with white faces and alternate between beige and black suits. There's also a group of skeleton warriors. None of them stand out that much as they don't do anything special, though it is cool when the skeleton dudes wield scythes. Lastly, as if the show didn't damage Black's reputation enough, Shadow Moon returns. For some reason. He appears in episode 22 and then doesn't show up again until 29, where he redeems himself because of course we can't have an evil writer die evil. What do you keep doing to my black characters?
Phrasing?
Oops. The effects and music. Aside from some bad effects every now and then, the show is pretty on par as far as the effects are concerned with the previous iteration. Thus, there's not much to really talk about, though it seems like the light reflecting off General Jack's mask would often get in the way of the camera, causing the picture to often look blurry as if the camera was unable to focus. Other than that, and the obviousness of wires, there's not much to complain if I didn't already talk about in the last review. The same can be said for the music, which continues to be good thanks to Eiji Kawamura. There are a couple of new tracks. For the most part though, it is the same music carried over.
今日より我らクライシスの人民となる者には自由に水を与える。もはやいかに抵抗しようとも、日本政府に突きつけた誓約書にはサインがなされる。 The new opening theme is pretty cool and catchy. Well, the ending, Senju no Rider RX, is pretty boring. Both are sung by Takayuki Miyauchi. The episodes. Huh? Oh, that's right. Sorry. I'm still recording. Ugh. This review is still going on. Ugh. Where was I? Let's see. Oh, yeah. The episodes. There's not much excitement I have for this show. It's like they took everything that made Black good and did the exact opposite of that. It doesn't help that this show has no idea what its tone wants to be. Sometimes it will be way too silly, while at other times it will have serious moments such as the murdering of Kyoko's parents and something that General Jack does in episode 46. Ultimately though, we are left with a series that ends up being more boring than not. None of the characters outside of Joe of the Haze are all that interesting, the pacing is a mess, and the fights aren't even well choreographed. Hell, you could pretty much watch the first 2 episodes, the few episodes in the Demon World, the intro to Dazamander, the 2-parter with Kyoko, and then the last few episodes and not feel like you missed a thing, as nothing happens throughout the rest of the show. Black may have had its moments of filler, but you were always on the edge of your seat wondering if Kotaro was going to rescue Nobuhiko or not, and then when Nobuhiko became Shadow Moon, you didn't know what direction the show was going to go in. Was Shadow Moon going to become good? Was he going to stay evil? Was he going to get saved? What was he going to do? Was he going to conquer the world? Did he kill Black? Well, he did kill Black. Black came back. How was he going to defeat Shadow Moon? Was he going to redeem Shadow Moon? There were so many questions going on through the entire series. Here, you know exactly how things are going to play out because none of it holds any relevance to the overall narrative. Upon thinking about it, every Crisis General except Maribaran are Kara and Mara from Black. Oh sure, they might actually fight compared to those twins, but they are just as useless. Moving forward, I chose episode 41, Terror of the 100-Eyed Hag, to be my favorite. This one sees Kyoko being captured by Maribaran's aunt.
今度はお前の命が欲しい。
お前はクライスの妖族ね。
命をくれ。命をくれ。
And Kotaro has to find a way to stop her.
Of course!
It's a pretty eerie episode, easily the most atmospheric of the series, and one of the few that feels close to the tones of Black. Not to mention the 100-Eyed Hag is just plain creepy looking. If you start calling yourself Lisa Trevor, we're gonna have a situation here. As for my least favorite episode, well, there are many contenders for that bout. In the end, I chose to go with the one titled RX Became a Pig. In this travesty, Crisis creates a device that can turn people into an animal.
猫は犬になれ。
The device ends up in the hands of a child thanks to two incompetent chaps who decides to turn teachers into pigs. He then transforms himself into a gorilla to get back at some bullies before Kotaro seemingly gets transformed into a pig as well. Does that sound stupid to you? Because it is. It's so freaking dumb. It is one of the dumbest episodes of any Toku series I have ever seen. Sure, all Toku series have their dumb episodes. Even the good ones have dumb episodes. But this episode just takes the cake as being one of the worst Kamen Rider episodes of all time. One of the worst Toku episodes between Kamen Rider, Sentai, Garo, Ultraman. Everything has episodes nowhere near as dumb and stupid as this one. Animal Farm, this is not the movie. Alright guys, pull out your 3D glasses because RX has a movie that was fully shot in 3D. If I can get these on. There we go. And what does our friend Alucard always have to say about 3D?
That's a stupid fucking gimmick and everyone knows it.
I do have to give the production team some credit though, as they try to make it so that every scene of the film had something in the foreground so there was always a 3D effect. The problem is that this movie is nothing beyond its gimmick. Kotaro is attacked by the Skeleton Warriors, who always tend to slash at the camera. And he finds himself reverting back to just being black. Phrasing. Somehow, he meets with his future RX self, along with Robo Rider and Bio Rider, who are all separate individuals right now.
You've created a time paradox.
Together, the four fight the Gorgon Priest along with some previously defeated monsters. It was hands down the longest 16-minute movie ever. Though, I did like the scene here where Kotaro heard his own theme song from Black. In the end, Kamen Rider Black RX was a massive letdown compared to what came before. Kotaro is just way too silly to really be the same character Worst of all, the episodes are just not that exciting to sit through. Thus, I'm going to be giving Kamen Rider Black RX a generous 2 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. You're probably wondering, with all the complaints, why I didn't give it a 1 out of 5. And it's true, I probably could have given it a 1 out of 5, but you know what? There are areas where the show does work. And when it works extremely well. There are some solid episodes of entertainment to be here. There are some moments that are good. It's just that overall, the entire show comes out rather pointless. It did not need to be 47 episodes in length, especially when maybe 10, 12 episodes of it really have any plot to them. If you're curious about Kamen Rider Black RX, if you want to see the source material for Saban's adaptation, or if you loved Black and want to see the follow-up, by all means, definitely check it out. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean you won't. However, I hope I never have to watch this series again. Until next time, bye.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Spread my wings.